Yo, what's up guys, hope you guys are doing good. So today we are gonna see, what if Naruto uses Juubi mode during the Chunnin exams, part 4. Hope you'll enjoy this video. So before we start, please subscribe to our channel and like this video. So let's get into the video. Exam room. Uzumaki felt like running, it was that crazy snake lady. Anko scanned the group and scowled. Are you going soft Ibiki? I mean there are like 45 brats here, said Anko. Ibiki just smirked. Nope, we got some lively ones this year, especially the young Uzumaki, said Ibiki with a grin. Naruto resisted the urge to flip Ibiki off and settled for ducking under the table. Anko let out a huge smile. Little Naru is here. Uzumaki prayed to Inari and Buddha that she would not find him. Of course, with his luck, she found him, and Naruto found his head in between two very soft mounds of flesh, much to the envy of some of the guys in the room. You suck donuts you fat bastards, said Naruto, his insult aimed at the deities. Alright maggots, follow me to restricted area 44, also known as the Forest of Death, said Anko. She walked out dragging a whimpering demon behind her. The genin just watched with a sweat drop going down the back of their heads. Ibiki sighed and went to collect the tests. He stopped at Naruto's test and frowned. Naruto left him a little note. Dear Ibiki-san. I do not trust Yakushi Kabuto. He smells too much like a certain snake. Namely Orochimaru. Something about him reeks of betrayal. Be careful, as he may be a spy. He knows too much information for a genin, and he has very high chakra reserves, almost Jounin class. So someone else agrees with me about that weird failure. I need to talk to Hokage-sama, thought Ibiki. He vanished in a swirl of wind. Forest of Death entrance. Uzumaki hated his life sometimes, sure it had its ups and downs, but damn didn't he suffer enough. Crazy, molesting snake woman. Naruto stiffened every time Anko's hand grabbed his rear. For Kami's sake he was only 12. Then again she did come up with the logic, being old enough to kill, old enough to have sex. His eye twitched when her hand squeezed his rear again. Anko rested her head on his and began grinning. Alright kids, here is the restricted area known as the Forest of Death. Here you will start and rush to the center of the forest where the tower is located. You have 3 days to get the job done. You have to survive and fight in the forest. I can't guarantee you will live through, smiled Anko. Some of the students shivered at the thought of dying in that forest. Naruto merely yawned. Anko twitched before nibbling on his neck. Careful Naru, I might show up in the forest myself just to give an arrogant little punk like you a scare. Uzumaki turned pale, he did not want to be caught in the Forest of Death with Anko. It was not beneficial to his mental and her physical health. Kyuubi on the other hand thought it would be perfect for the young prince. He needed to unwind anyways. As I was saying, you also have a main objective. Main objective? I thought surviving was the main objective, blurted Kiba out loud. Nope, retrieving a heaven and earth scroll is the true objective, survival is just an option. Oh, and if one of your teammates dies there, you're disqualified, said Anko with a grin on her face. Great, give everyone heart attacks Anko-san, said Naruto dryly. Anko smirked as she nibbled on his ear. Only to keep it more amusing for me. Uzumaki sighed before warning voices went off in his head. Kuro was acting up. One thing he noticed about Kuro was the fact that it gave him warning signs and alerted him to some kind of danger. He turned to the Kusanins and his eyes went wide. He smells like a snake. You don't think? It's a possibility, but if it is who I think it is, we are in serious trouble. Uzumaki sighed and stiffened when Anko gave his ass one more squeeze before walking away. First thing, I need everyone to fill out a form stating that if you die, Konoha will not be held responsible. She got the looks of fear just as she wanted. Stupid Naruto just wasn't as afraid of her anymore. I guess I need to harass him a bit more. He needs to learn to fear Madarashi Anko. Also, come here to pick up your scrolls. Each of you will retrieve a scroll and move to your forest gate. Sasuke went for Team 7 and held the scroll. From heaven, whispered Sasuke. Naruto quickly scanned who may have the scrolls they wanted. Team Aim and Kusa have an earth scroll. I suggest staying away from Team Kusa. Their leader gives me the chills, said Naruto. Sakura and Sasuke were now on guard. If he could make Naruto nervous, then there was something seriously wrong with that man. Alright kiddies, go to your gates and get ready to have some fun, said Anko with a bloodthirsty grin. The teams went to their respective gates and got ready. Let the second part of the exam begin, shouted Anko. The gate doors swung open and the teams rushed in. Anko sighed. Great, now I'm bored. Wait, what is this? She reached into her jacket and smirked. There was a scroll with a black swirl on it. I recognized that insignia from anywhere, it's one of Naruto's scrolls. She unfurled it and read it. Her eyes went wide and she growled. Brat, I hope you're wrong, cause if he is here. Forest of Death. Team 7 leapt through the trees and came to a stop. Alright, we should set up camp soon, said Sasuke. Naruto nodded but was still on edge. Seeing as how we have 3 days to get to the tower, I doubt any of us got enough supplies to feed 3 for 2 nights and 3 days," said Naruto calmly. He created 5 clones and sent them hunting. "What is the plan for Sasuke-kun?" asked Sakura. "Well, we have 2 options. We can either go for an Earth Scroll or find another Heaven Scroll and use it as a bargaining chip," said Sasuke. "Actually, we have more than 2 options, but I'm not sure you approve of kidnapping teammates to ensure us a scroll," said Naruto. Sakura and Sasuke turned to Naruto with weird looks. "It makes sense, a little underhanded, but," said Sakura. "We're shinobi. A lot of the things we do are underhanded," said Naruto with a cold smirk. For some reason his blood was pumped. Perhaps it was the thrill of the hunt that had him this way. "Excuse me for a second, I need to take care of something. Apparently someone has been trailing us already," whispered Naruto. "I will enjoy this little hint." Naruto blurred out of existence, much to Sakura and Sasuke's surprise. "I guess the demon in him is pumped up," said Sasuke. They both stopped moving when they heard Naruto's bone-chilling laughter echo through the forest. "I feel bad for the poor bastards that followed us," said Sasuke. He had a sweat drop sliding down the back of his head. Sakura just sighed. A blood-curdling scream echoed through the forest, causing both of them to jump. Naruto returned with a heaven scroll and a dismembered arm attached. Sakura turned green, while Sasuke just tilted his head back with a nauseous look on his face. "What? I brought a present," said Naruto. He sighed and tossed the arm into the forest. "So much for making jokes. Although we have a heaven scroll, it will do us no good unless we trade it or something." "Let's wait for your clones to bring some food," said Sasuke. "We can decide our course of action after we eat." Naruto and Sakura nodded. Unbeknownst to Sakura and Sasuke, the Naruto before them was a clone. The real Naruto leapt through the trees and deeper into the forest. He stopped when he spotted a girl with buns in her hair. "Hinohinin. Ah, I know of her. Her name is Tenten, no surname, orphan, self-proclaimed weapon master." Uzumaki's eyes went wide when he noticed a thin wire hidden. "So the prey knows she is followed, let the hunt begin." Not wanting to disappoint Tenten, Naruto tripped the wire. 2 seconds later, he was a pincushion. All sorts of sharp objects impaled him. Tenten smirked and turned to see Naruto fall to the ground. Then he turned into a log. Her eyes went wide when Naruto appeared before her. "The Toppa, great breakthrough." He placed his hand in front of her and blew her into a tree. Naruto smiled when she bounced off the tree. His smile only broadened when she replaced herself with a log. "The hunt is on, my prayer on far and hide, for I will find you," said Naruto. He laughed out loud before vanishing in a swirl of wind. Tenten sat in her tree holding a pair of kunai. "Okay, I don't know what the hell is going on, but that kid is dangerous." Juutin. Rankyaku ran. Wind release. Storm leg war. Uzumaki began kicking at the trees and watched in mild amusement as they were cut down. He leapt from the trees and spotted Tenten. She unfurled a scroll, releasing a multitude of kunai. Naruto took out his Yamato and deflected the kunai. Tenten's eyes went wide and gasped in pain when Naruto's foot dug into her stomach. She fell to the ground, but Naruto grabbed her. He took out some shinobi wire and tied the girl up. "You will make an excellent bargaining chip," thought the boy. He created a clone and made sure it watched her. With that done, Naruto leapt into the forest. He was having more fun than a normal boy his age should have. "Uzumaki-kun, you are insane." Uzumaki raced through the treetops only to be blown off course. He spotted a giant snake rushing towards him. His eyes went wide and he took out madness. He spun his blade and cut the snake cleanly in half down the middle. That was not a normal occurrence. He felt an extremely large chakra spike and he rushed to the source. It was close to Team 7. "Ayubiheim, returned to my body. I think this is going to become dangerous." Team 7. Sasuke was livid and afraid at the same time. Naruto was dispatched easily, and to his anger, it turned out to be a clone. Now he and Sakura were stuck fighting a strange man. "Do you want this?" asked Sasuke as he took out the heaven scroll. The man grinned. Sasuke tossed it towards him, but to his surprise Naruto appeared and caught it. He glared at the Uchiha. "Fool, he outclassed you. Do you really think he would let you live if you gave up our scroll?" asked Naruto. "Uzumaki-kun is right, Sasuke-kun. Would I have really let you live even if you gave me your scroll?" said the creepy Kusanin. Naruto scowled as he took out Black Storm. Wasting no time, he quickly entered his Yokai state at full power. He nearly knocked Sasuke over with a chakra influx. "Sasuke, we need to work together for this fight." Sasuke nodded and took out his. "Ah, the Kyuubi," said the man with a hint of glee in his voice. Naruto vanished from the tree branch, causing it to be destroyed. The Kusanin grinned as he brought out 2 kunai to block Black Storm. "Why are you here, Orochimaru?" hissed the demonic knight. Orochimaru's eyes went wide and he smiled. "Why, how did you know? You smell of a snake, but I want to know what your intentions are." Orochimaru just chuckled as he kicked Naruto off of him. He summoned a snake and attacked Naruto into the forest. That should take care of your friend for a while. Now Sasuke-kun, show me what the last Uchiha can do. Sasuke ran forward and began swiping at the Kusanin. Orochimaru bounced through the assault and sighed. Sasuke went for the hamstrings, but Orochimaru blocked it. He kicked Sasuke in the chin and sent the boy into the branches above. How sad, Itachi should have killed you, you really are a waste. Sasuke's Sharingan spun madly and he growled. A second Tomo grew in his eyes and he smirked. He went through some seals. Kaiten. Housenkan no Jutsu. Fire release. Phoenix Fire Flower no Jutsu. He took a deep breath and launched some fireballs at Orochimaru, who dodged them easily. He growled and went through some more seals. Paiten Gakakyu no Jutsu. Rinkuiden. Shouted Naruto from the forest. Naruto came running covered in snake blood. Sasuke shot out a fireball while Naruto jumped into the sky. He launched a bullet of wind at the fireball. The wind attack boosted the strength and speed of the fireball and it flew towards Orochimaru with greater speed. The snake Sanin's eyes went wide as the attack overtook him. Naruto rushed forward and watched as Orochimaru jumped out. He spotted Naruto coming in close, but he didn't have enough time to react. Rising Dragon. Shouted Naruto as he hit Orochimaru in the chin with an uppercut. The serpent flew into the air and Naruto appeared in front of him. Naruto began punching Orochimaru in the stomach with lightning speed and kicked the man into a tree. Orochimaru smirked and watched as Sasuke appeared in front of him. He hit Orochimaru in the head with a hammer fist strike and watched as the Sannin fell to the ground. He quickly followed and maneuvered into a belly-to-back suplex. He locked his feet firmly around Orochimaru's neck and they fell towards the ground. Hayabusa Itachi. Peregrine Falcon drop. Orochimaru hit the ground head first and groaned. He was going to need some aspirin later. Orochimaru stood up and shook his head. Sharingan Sufusha San Itachi. Sharingan Windmill Triple Blade, said Sasuke as he threw 3 Fuma Shuriken at Orochimaru. The shuriken flew past him but wrapped around him with wires attached. Sasuke brought a wire to his mouth and flew through the seals. Paiten. Ryuka no Jutsu. Fire release. Dragon Fire Technique. Uzumaki stood behind him and reared his fist back. Shippuga. Wind release. Hurricane Fang. The Gatsuuga-sized tornado was launched from Naruto's fist and Sasuke let loose his fire stream. The two elements combined and formed a flaming tornado of destruction. Naruto let out a sigh as he returned to his normal state. I think we did it, to huffed Sasuke. To the tag team's immense horror, Orochimaru rose from the tornado. His skin was peeling away, revealing his true pale flesh. Should, muttered Sasuke. Uzumaki was about to enter his Yokai state again, but Orochimaru acted first. His tongue shot out of his mouth and wrapped around Naruto's neck. He lifted Naruto and slammed him into a tree trunk. Naruto was knocked out cold from the impact and dragged towards Orochimaru. Orochimaru held Naruto up with his hands, holding him at the boy's shoulders so he could get a great view of his neck. He grinned and bared his fangs. With a wicked hiss sounding like a cobra, he bit down on Naruto's neck. The pain of Orochimaru's poison seeping into him woke him up. 3 black triangles appeared on his neck. Roared Naruto. Orochimaru tossed Naruto at a tree and watched as the boy fell to the ground in pain. Sasuke stared at his teammate and glared at Orochimaru. You two work splendidly as a duo. I will enjoy the events that are to come. He performed a pair of seals and his neck began to stretch. Orochimaru's face flew forward and he bit down on Sasuke's neck. He produced 3 strange Tama-like marks on Sasuke's neck and he moved away. Soon Sasuke began screaming in pain until he too was unconscious. Sakura watched in horror as both her teammates were defeated rather easily. What did you do to them? Shouted Sakura. Nothing much, just a gift and you will. Naruto seeks strength, Sasuke seeks vengeance, they will both come to me for more power. Orochimaru was about to sink away when he felt a chakra flux. He turned to Naruto standing up. His golden eyes went wide. The boy's hair turned a mix between silver and white. Naruto had a purple aura around him. His golden eyes held no light and he held his hands. Hyoten Hikari Kuriryudan Yami Kuriryudan, Ice Release. Light Ice Dragon Projectile and Darkness Ice Dragon Projectile. 2 dragons made of ice shot from Naruto's hands. One was made of white ice and looked like it was made of ice, while the other was made of a black ether-like substance. Orochimaru jumped over the first dragon, but in his arrogance, he missed the second black one. It skinned his arm and he felt his flesh freeze over. Orochimaru's eyes went wide when his arm was bitten with a frigid burn. He watched as Naruto smirked and passed out. Orochimaru scowled but then grinned. The pain in his arm was a minor setback and just another obstacle to overcome. He can use Hyoten excellently. After I have Sasuke's body, I will have his and then I will truly become immortal. Orochimaru sank into the grass and laughed maniacally. Sakura rushed to the boy's aid and she growled. Damn what he did to them, Sasuke has a fever, and Naruto shouldn't be able to get sick from something like this. She dragged both boys into the safety of a nearby uprooted tree that provided a small den for them. She scanned the area and quickly set up traps. She had to stay awake to make sure her teammates didn't die. 10 yards from Team 7, Team Odo was rushing towards Team 7. Orochimaru's orders were to kill Uchiha Sasuke and Uzumaki Naruto. Stated Dosu, as if he was talking about the weather. Good, I want to pay that blonde pretty boy back. Grumbled Zaku. Kin was indifferent, she wanted to get this done as soon as possible. Team 7, Sasuke tossed and turned in his sleep, he was in immense pain. Naruto fared slightly better due to Kyuubi. Mindscape, the purple serpent rushed towards Naruto's mind, ready to poison it. It did not count on Orpheus appearing with his spears. The serpent stopped and hissed at him. A second later, it was skewered by Orpheus, who sighed. I don't know what you are, but I cannot allow you to reach your master's mind or soul. Orpheus brought that thing to me, said Kyuubi with a demonic grin on her face. Orpheus did as he was told and produced the skewered creature. She held the serpent in her hand and it exploded. The dark chakra that was composed of the curse seal suddenly floated in the air. It was purple in color. Suddenly Naruto's black chakra absorbed the purple chakra and Kyuubi pushed some of her own crimson chakra into it. The chakra turned into a sphere of colors before vanishing. Kyuubi let out a giggle until it became full-blown maniacal laughter. That fool Orochimaru just made my plans much easier. The king will not be stopped and he will not run to you for power, serpent. Orpheus just sighed again, he had no idea what the Fox Queen was talking about. Team 7 versus Team Odo. Sakura was tired, she was about to fall asleep when she heard rustling. She took out a kunai and was suddenly on guard. She spotted Tenten and tensed. Who are you and what do you want? Nothing much, just want to pay a certain blonde back, said Tenten while playing with a kunai. She was humiliated by a genin, a fresh one at that. That bastard tied me up and was planning to use me to get our team's scroll. Sakura just sighed. That's her Naruto. Uzumaki, eh? Wake him up. I will not be satisfied until he bows to me. Sakura just let out a dark chuckle. Naruto. Bowing to anyone? You are insane if you think he would bow to you. It takes a lot to make a Naruto scared and I really don't think you are one of those things. Tenten bristled in anger. Before she could do anything, a group of shinobi made themselves known. Tenten jumped back and landed next to Sakura. Alright, where is Uchiha Sasuke so we can get this job over with? Said Zaku with a grin. Kin glared at Sakura and took her out. Let me have the girl, her hair is too glossy to be a real kunoichi. Muttered Kin. Whatever, just let us kill Naruto and Sasuke, said Dosu. Kin rushed forward with incredible speed, surprising both Sakura and Tenten. Fast. Both Konoha in. Kin zoomed past Tenten and went for Sakura. Sakura cut a string and 2 logs swung forward. Kin jumped over them and smirked. Too obvious, shouted Kin. She heard a click and she turned around to see a hail of kunai coming her way. She rolled to the side to avoid it and jumped back to dodge a hail of sharp objects coming from Tenten. Tenten took out a scroll and revealed her boy's staff. Zaku smirked. Let me handle the girl with the buns. He held his hands out and grinned. Zankyu. Decapitating airwaves, he let out a strong blast of wind that sent Tenten flying. Sakura gasped and was kicked in the stomach for not paying attention to Kin. She was then kicked in the chin, sending her back. Sakura landed next to Tenten. Zaku and Kin jumped towards them but were intercepted by a green blur. Konoha Senpyu. Leaf Whirlwind. Lee did a spinning roundhouse kick on both Kin and Zaku. Both Soundnin flew back and landed next to Dosu. I will not allow you to harm Sakura-chan or Tenten-chan, said Lee as he stood in his Gauken stance. Team 10 watched the madness from the safety of the bushes. This is such a troublesome, muttered Shikamaru. Ino was nervous. Sure, Sakura and her were rivals, but she was still her best friend. Chaoji was nervous as well. Niji watched from his spot in his tree, he was ready to jump in if necessary. Dosu had enough and he jumped into the fray. Lee smiled as he crossed his arms over his chest. Hachiman. Came in Kai. 8 gates. Initial gate open. Lee blurred out of sight and appeared in front of Dosu. He kicked him into the air and vanished. He unwrapped the bandages around his arms and wrapped Dosu in them. He grabbed his captured foe and began spinning towards the ground. Amit Renge. Front lotus. Zaku's eyes went wide and he pushed his hands into the ground. He sent a wave of wind to upturn some dirt. Lee slammed Dosu into the dirt and jumped away. He groaned, the Amit Renge took a lot out of him. Dosu staggered to his feet and shook his head. Thanks, Zaku. I don't think I would have survived if you didn't cushion my impact, said Dosu. He smirked behind his wrappings and ran forward. He swung at Lee, who blocked the punch. Soon he felt a sharp noise in his ears and he began vomiting blood. Lee! Shouted Tenten. Zaku knocked her into a tree with a Zankyuha. Kin had Sakura with her long pink hair and she smirked. I wonder how long you stand in front of a mirror brushing your hair. You're a disgrace to Kunoichi all over. Hissed Kin in her ear. Sakura felt like crying but stopped suddenly. She remembered Naruto and Sasuke were always the ones to bail her out of trouble, but now it was her turn to protect them. She took out a kunai and quickly cut her hair. Kin lost her grip and Sakura smashed her fist into King's face. Take that bitch, shouted inner Sakura. Sakura stood up and took out a second kunai. She rushed forward toward Zaku. He smirked and took out some of his own kunai. He threw them at Sakura and raised an eyebrow when she disappeared in a puff of smoke. He spotted her coming up from the rear and blasted her away with his Zankyuha. To his surprise, she fell apart. Itsuchi Bunshin. He spotted Sakura in a tree going through seals. Oten. Doryuden no Jutsu. Earth release. Earth dragon projectile. The dragon head made out of earth emerged from the ground and plowed forward into Dosu and Zaku. Both shinobi were caught off guard and were sent sailing. Dosu shook the stars from his eyes and growled. I am tired of this. Before anyone could do anything, a surge of malice and insanity blew into the area. In a swirl of black chakra, Naruto appeared floating in the air. Something was different about him. His hair was a pale silver and his horns were out. His golden eyes had a red tint to them. His mark on his neck fused together to form a 9-point star. His ears were more fox-like. His skin was pale, almost like porcelain. Naruto vanished and appeared next to Sakura. Who did this to you? asked Naruto. Sakura shuddered in fear. His voice was distorted to a point where it sounded like a demon craving souls mixed with an innocent child asking for candy. Sakura was too scared to answer him. Tenten, Team 10, and Neji were on edge. This was not good. Zaku apparently ignored all the warning signs that Naruto was not something to mess with. I did. Said Zaku proudly. Kin cursed vehemently while taking a step back. She was not going to be caught in the crossfire. You idiot. Shouted Dosu. Uzumaki smiled. That was enough to send everyone into a case of shudders. A small cold insane smile. Naruto's eyes lost their pupils as black and red chakra spiraled around him. He let out a roar as his body began to change. His horns grew even more, black leathery bat-like wings sprouted from his back. His beloved cloak became a side skirt that reached his ankles. His hooked claws grew as well until the point they were like hooked kunai for fingers. Soon his power subsided and he sighed. His wings stretched open and he flew forward. Zankyu! Shouted Zaku. Naruto flew around the attack with immense speed. The boy was moving so fast that he had 4 after shadow images behind him. Zaku turned around only to jet Naruto's clawed hand slapping him in the mouth. Naruto smirked. He grabbed Zaku by his collar and lifted him in the air. He began slapping the snot out of Zaku and kicked him into a tree. He flew towards Dosu and began spinning. Tatsumaki Kyaku, tornado kick. He extended his leg and began kicking Dosu in the stomach, face, and knees over and over. He flew back, but Naruto flew past him. With a swift back fist, Naruto nailed Dosu in the back of the head, making him eat dirt. Zaku tried to perform his Zankyu, but Naruto appeared behind him and broke both of his arms without much trouble. Kin watched this and whimpered in fear. Naruto appeared in front of her with a psychotic look etched onto his face. Soon Kin was lifted in the air by her neck. You injured Sakura Haim. I should do the same. Uzumaki made his hand flat and raised it back. He was going to plunge his hand through her heart. In fact, I should kill you, but I won't. Let Naruto let her go and walk away. I don't think Sakura Haim would like it if killed for her, said Naruto as he returned to his human form. He stood there and sighed. Give me your scroll and then beat it. Dosu did not have to be told a second time. He reached into his kunai pouch and threw the earth scroll on the ground. He picked up Zaku's broken form and retreated. Kin followed suit. Naruto craned his neck and sighed. When I said beat it, I meant it. That went for Team 10 who is hiding in the bushes and Team Guy. Naruto raised an eyebrow and sighed. So much for my prisoner. He finally noticed Tenten was free. Tenten scowled and helped Lee up. Neji jumped from his spot in the tree and continued with the hunt. Team 10 scrambled as soon as Naruto told them to. He sighed before creating 10 clones. Then to Sasuke. Seal up the Jun. The clones nodded and took out their supplies. Sakura collapsed into a heap, adrenaline gone. Naruto picked up the girl and placed her in the uprooted tree. He summoned over 30 hells and sent them to patrol. He sighed and went back to sleep. Unbeknownst to him, someone was watching him, someone that didn't belong in this world. The Juubi is growing stronger, Master Mundus must know of this development. The figure just vanished, no puff or swirl of smoke, just vanished. Mindscape. Uzumaki awoke back in his mind realm and his eyes went wide. There was a girl here. She wore a black dress. Well, if he could call it that. It stopped above her thighs. She wore a pair of black slippers. She had long black hair tied in two pigtails with flower hair clips holding them in place. Her skin was orange and her golden eyes had a mischievous gleam. "Welcome back, master. I am Wapo of the Magician Arcana." Uzumaki's eyes went wide and he stared at the new throne in his mind. "So how are you doing, masters?" asked Wapo. "I feel like I was hit with a S-class Doten technique," muttered the young man. "That was because I changed Orochimaru's Jutsu," said Kyuubi. "I know I felt what you did to it. What changes would it bring? It is now your Jutsu. The curse seal of hell. I made it so it's now a part of your demonic transformation. It also gave your limbs a boost," said Kyuubi with a smirk. "But the best thing about it is the fact that you can now give your own Jutsu to people you deem worthy. Give power to people I deem worthy." Naruto smirked. He liked that idea. Naruto closed his eyes and went back to sleep. Orpheus slept in his throne, leaving Kyuubi and Hwapo to their own devices. Kyuubi took out a black marker and grinned. Hwapo mirrored a grin and pounced on the sleeping fool Arcana. Team 7. Uzumaki yawned and stood up. He spotted Sasuke leaning against a wall and smirked. "Took you long enough to wake up." "How long have I been asleep?" asked Naruto. "Around 5 hours," said Sasuke. "How do you feel?" "I feel fine," said Sasuke as he rubbed his neck. He woke up halfway through the sealing process. "It hurt like hell. You know what I did to get that seal on your neck, correct?" "Yeah, your clones told me," said Sasuke. Naruto picked up Sakura and both Naruto and Sasuke took off. "We have 2 heaven scrolls and 1 earth. Let's hurry to the tower," said Sasuke. Naruto nodded and sent his hells back to whichever dimension they came from. Tower. After about 2 hours of running, they spotted the tower. The duo walked in and set Sakura down. Naruto took out the earth scroll while Sasuke took out the heaven scroll. Both of the genin unfurled the scroll at the same time. In a puff of smoke, Iruka appeared with a smile on his face. "Good job on surviving the second part of the Chunnin exams. I suggest you wake up Sakura now." Uzumaki prodded Sakura awake with his foot and was caught in the groin with a fist to the crotch. He keeled over and groaned in pain. Sakura opened her eyes and gasped when she realized what she just did. She had a nightmare that they were still under attack and she must have hit Naruto in her sleep. Sasuke busted out laughing at Naruto while Iruka just shook his head. Sakura went over to Naruto, babbling apologies after apologies. Naruto on the other hand was in pain. "How," grinned Naruto. Sakura reached down and began caressing him without thinking. She realized what she was doing and froze when Naruto let out a moan. He turned red while Sakura nearly passed out. Sasuke was now beating the floor with his hands. He was in tears. Iruka was just staring at the madness before him. These kids were insane. 2 days later. Arena grounds. Soon it was time for the preliminary rounds of the Chunnin exam. There were too many damn students around. Even after Kabuto quit, which made Naruto even more suspicious, and the other 2 members of Team AIM, there were too many of them. "Alright, now it's time for the second part of the Chunnin exams," said a sickly Jounin. He was the master swordsman, Jekuhei. Naruto had sparred with the man every now and then. Had it not been for his failing health, he would have been one of the most powerful shinobi Konoha has ever produced. Even though he is sick, he could still kick the crap out of Naruto. "Seeing as we have an uneven amount of shinobi, someone will have to fight twice. Now we will begin. The computer will randomly pick opponents." Kakashi walked up to both Naruto and Sasuke. "If either of you activate your cursed seals, you may be taken out of the exam. The Juuin on my neck is no longer under Orochimaru's control." "He forgot about Kyuubi Hime inside of me," said Naruto with a small smirk. "Uzumaki sealed off my Juuin already," said Sasuke simply. Kakashi sighed. These two had a headache when they worked together. "Alright, I trust Kyuubi took care of you, Naruto, but Sasuke, I'm going to place another seal over it after you match." Sasuke shrugged his shoulders, he didn't care. Anko stared at the 2 boys. She didn't particularly care for the last Uchiha that much, but she knew what would happen if Orochimaru got his hands on Sasuke. Naruto on the other hand was a different story. They were both hated for something they had no control over. Naruto for the Kyuubi while she suffered because she was Orochimaru's student. From time to time she would spend time with him. As time progressed, she began to grow more and more attached to him. He was the only male that showed her any kind of love, even if he didn't know it. Anko was not going to let something happen to her little Naru. The screen board flashed to life and soon 2 names popped up. Uruno Sakura versus Yamanaka Ino. Both rivals looked at each other and smirked. Kiba grinned. A chick fight of epic proportions was about to begin. Naruto sighed and sat down. "That's?" asked Zabuza, who among the assorted Jounin and Chunin present to watch over the exam. Kakashi smirked. He put some money in the pot. 2,000 ryu on Sakura. 1,000 ryu on Ino, said Asuma. 10,000 ryu on Sakura, said Naruto calmly. Sakura was planning on ending this quickly. As soon as Height gave them the signal to start, Sakura rushed forward with her kunai out. Ino quickly took out her kunai and blocked Sakura's assault. Ino jumped over Sakura's sweeper kick and fought back with a roundhouse punch. Sakura dodged the attack and kicked Ino in the stomach. "Ino, please give up," Sakura sadly. The purple-clad Kunoichi sprung up to her feet and growled. "And let you have Sasuke-kun? No way in hell. You need to take the life of a Kunoichi more seriously. He has taught me that much," said Sakura as she slid into stance. Ino fumed and cut off her long ponytail. "So what? You cut your hair and think you grew up," shouted Ino angrily. "I did grow up. The forest of death made me grow up. Watching my teammate kill anyone who opposed him made me grow up," whispered Sakura. Sakura ran forward and created some Tsuchi Bunshin. Ino's eyes went wide and she attacked them by throwing kunai at them. The clones turned to mud and she was shocked in the mouth by Sakura. Sakura went through some seals and closed her eyes. "I'm sorry, Ino Doten. Doryuiden no Jutsu." An earth dragon appeared and flew into Ino. She hit the wall with a thud and flew down, unconscious. "This match is over. Haruno Sakura is the winner," said Height. Asuma sighed as Kakashi and Naruto took their earnings. Sakura sighed as she walked back up the stairs. Kakashi's training did help. The screen lit up again. Rock Lee vs Abaku no Gaara. Uzumaki narrowed his eyes. He spotted Lee jumping up and down happily. "Wait, Lee, I don't think his warnings fell on deaf ears," as Lee jumped into the ring. Uzumaki only scowled when more bets took place. Gaara stood in the center of the ring. "Second match, begin." Height jumped out of the way when a wave of sand came crashing past him and went after Lee. Lee tried everything in his power but could not hit Suna Kunoichi. Her shield of sand would not allow anyone near here. "I don't get it. Why won't he use ninjutsu or genjutsu?" asked Sakura. "He can't," said Guy. That drew Genin's attention. Lee is a shinobi who cannot use ninjutsu or genjutsu because he has a rare medical condition that prevents him from molding chakra. It's almost impossible for him to use the academy techniques. That is why he uses taijutsu. Lee scowled before jumping onto the fingers of the statue. "Lee!" shouted Guy from the sidelines. "Take them off." "But I thought I could only take them off when it was an emergency." "It's okay. Take them off." "Yosh!" shouted Lee happily as he lifted his orange leg warmers. Around his ankles were leg weights. Naruto's eyes went wide as he stared at the smiling Guy. "You are insane," muttered Naruto. "I can move much faster without these." On the sidelines, Team Suna just scoffed. "It doesn't matter if he takes off a couple of pounds. He still can't hit Gaara," said Tamari with a smirk. Baki just smirked. But when the weights fell and mortar shot into the sky, everyone had shocked expressions. Kakashi just put his hand to his head. "You are way too much. Now Lee. Explode for youth." "Yosh." Lee vanished. Gaara's eyes went wide. Lee's fist missed her face by a millimeter. Soon Lee began appearing and disappearing faster and faster. Her sand could not keep up. Lee hit Gaara in the face, sending her back. Team Suna watched in shock as Gaara skied across the floor. Gaara stood up and rubbed her scratched cheek. Lee vanished and did a heel drop kick on Gaara with such force that she flipped forward and landed on her rear. Lee wasted no time and opened the first gate of chakra. Gaara growled before being kicked in the chin. Lee began kicking her higher and higher when he saw the sand catching up to them. He stopped and wrapped his bandages around her. They began to spin towards the ground. "Amit Renge!" shouted Lee as he sent Gaara into the ground. He jumped away at the last second and took a moment to catch his breath. He scowled when he spotted Gaara was nothing more than a Suna Bunshin. He jumped in the air and dodged the sand wave. Up in the stands, Kakashi was angry. "You taught him those forbidden moves, Guy," growled Kakashi. "He is my student, Kakashi. I decide on what to teach him. He needed a way to survive and I gave it to him," said Guy without his usual banter in his voice. Lee was still injured from the Amit Renge and he growled. "Hyuman Kai." Heel gate opened. Lee suddenly regained some strength and continued with the assault. He was getting nowhere and if anything, Gaara's grin was getting more and more bloodthirsty. For the first time since this match started, Gaara spoke. "You amuse me, but you must die so I may be satisfied." Lee growled and crossed his arms over his chest. He had to bring out the trump card. Naruto's eyes went wide when he realized what Lee was going to do. Lee would go as far as the Ura Renge to prove his. Whispered Naruto in awe. Guy smiled. Lee was going to prove himself one way or another. Chakra began to spiral around Lee and his skin turned red. His hair began to stand on end and his eyes lost their pupils. Hachiman Seiman Kai. 8 gates. Life gate open. Rocks began to fly into the air. But Naruto and Lee was off. The ground was destroyed as Lee dashed forward. Gaara received a crushing kick in the chin, launching her upward. A thick cloud of dust rose, blocking mostly everyone's sight. Naruto looked up and spotted Gaara being knocked back and forth. Neji watched with wide eyes. So Lee, this is your true power. Denton could not believe her eyes. Lee, the one who could not use ninjutsu, was doing that kind of damage. It was not possible. Lee watched as the sand tried to keep up, but it only pushed him further. Shaman Kai. Wind gate open. Uzumaki was now growing alarmed. Sasuke watched with his Sharingan intently. He would like to learn the gate techniques, but something about it was wrong. Sasuke, do you know what is going on? Asked Naruto. Somewhat, it seems Lee's body is being pushed to its limit, said Sasuke. Lee was moving even faster, knocking Gaara back and forth. Suna Kunoichi was growing nervous. I Suna no Yoroi is breaking, thought Gaara. Gaara was brought out of her thoughts when Lee punched her towards the ground. To her horror, she was yanked back up by a bandage. Lee flew forward. Toman Kai. Roared Lee. Limit gate open. Lee vanished as soon as Gaara brought her arms up to defend herself. Lee delivered a crushing blow to Gaara with a kick and open palm to the stomach. Gaara flew into the ground, creating a nice-sized crater. Lee fell to the ground with a thud and struggled to sit up. His muscles were like paste now. His eyes went wide when he spotted Gaara glaring at him. She was not happy. How? He noticed that her gourd was gone. It must have been used to cushion the fall. Gaara held her hand out and sand moved towards Lee. It wrapped around his arm and leg. Sabaku Kaiu. Shouted Gaara. Lee's eyes went wide and he screamed in pain when the sand crushed his arm and leg. Everyone cringed when they heard the bone-crunching noise. Gaara was going to finish the job, but Guy intervened by dispatching the wave of sand. Due to Jounin interference, Rock Lee is disqualified, Sabaku no Gaara is the winner. Said Hade. Medics rushed to pick up Lee and ran off with him. Guy watched sadly and reappeared back on the sidelines. He heard the medics whispering something like severe damage and the end of shinobi career. Kakashi sighed as he put a hand on his shoulder. I'm sorry for reacting in such a way, Guy. Had I been in your shoes, I would have done the same thing and taught him the same thing. I just smiled sadly. The board lit up again and the next group was announced. Inyazuka Kiba vs Kujaku Hikari. Kiba smirked as he jumped in the ring. He was pumped up. He was hoping he could fit Naruto, but hey, this chick was a nice substitute. Begin the match. Uzumaki was not interested in the match as he went to sleep. When he awoke, Shino was leaving the ring with Zaku on the ground with both of his arms about 2 feet away from him. What did I miss? Asked Naruto. Kiba and that Hikari girl knocked each other out. Shikamaru knocked out that bitch from the forest. Zaku had his arms blown off fighting Shino, and his Kakechu, Niji, destroyed the Kumo guy named Kame. Apparently he did not like the guy, and that weirdo with the makeup used a doll to defeat another weirdo. Said Sakura. Kankuro bristled at the insult directed at him. Uchiha Sasuke vs Akadu Yoroi. Sasuke jumped into the ring and sighed as he took out his. Yoroi smirked, all he had to do was steal the boy's chakra and this match would be over. Begin. Shouted Hade. Yoroi ran forward with his hand outstretched. Sasuke swiveled to the left and with a quick slash upwards, he cut off Yoroi's arm. Yoroi was so confident he could win, he did not expect Sasuke to do that. What? He shouldn't be able to use chakra due to the curse seal. Sasuke went up close and kicked him in the chin, launching him into the air. While shadowing Yoroi, Sasuke attempted to strike them from a vulnerable angle. Yoroi blocked the hit but realized too late that it was a feint. He used the feint to draw Yoroi's attention and defense to one area. He then struck the undefended area and began knocking Yoroi downwards towards the ground. As the man fell back to the earth, Sasuke deftly rotated his body around to deliver a full force kick to his chest, knocking the air out of his lungs. Yoroi passed out and Sasuke just walked away with a sigh. The only one I want to fight is Naruto. That was boring. Said Sasuke out loud. Naruto smirked at the Uchiha. As you wish, just make sure you survive long enough to fight me. Said Naruto. The winner is Uchiha Sasuke. The computer hummed to life and the next fighters were on. Naruto vs Uzumaki. Naruto. Uzumaki smirked as he vanished. He took off his cloak, revealing his jet black battle guy. He had bandages wrapped around his arms and around his feet. He took a good look at his opponent and his eyes went wide. She simply wore a black tank top and pants. Around her arms were thick black whips that could be charged with lightning chakra in order to zap trapped opponents. They were supposed to go over the sleeves of her top. The top was stretched tightly over her sizable chest, earning her dozens and dozens of leers and glances from guys and even a few from girls. But those were mostly from jealousy. Her face was thin and well chiseled, almost fit for a goddess. Her blue eyes were slanted, almost like those of a cat. Her blonde hair was not only sleek but fluffy to the touch as well. If one were to associate this girl with an animal, everyone would think the same thing. She looked like a cat. Naruto blushed and tensed when he felt something coming from her. He felt demonic chakra. What are the odds that there are 3 in one village? Muttered Naruto out loud. Yujito's eyes went wide and she narrowed her eyes. What do you mean by 3? Asked a girl coldly. She chided herself for sounding so snappish. He was cute. He looks like a delicious Yujito. Look at that chiseled chest, ripe muscles, hardened face. And if his face is anything to go by, imagine the juicy surprise hidden in his pants. Nico-chan. Sorry. But kitten, you have to admit it, he is hot. You, Gaara, and myself. Said Naruto as he craned his neck. Before she could respond, Hate started the match. Naruto raced forward. He wanted to cut the distance between them. Yujito took off a whip and swung at Naruto. He rolled to the side and flew into a flurry of fists. Yujito dodged each of his punches with relative ease and kicked him in the face, knocking him back. He vanished in a puff of smoke. She turned to Naruto, grinning as he floated in the air. Her eyes went wide when she spotted a swirl of wind surrounding him. She launched her whip at him and watched in horror as it was destroyed by a swath of wind. She inwardly smirked as she flew through seals. Raiden. Rairyuu no Tatsumaki. Lightning release. Lightning dragon tornado. Uzumaki spotted a giant dragon made of lightning flying towards him and floated to the side. Luckily for him, he was a wind user, meaning he had some sort of advantage over her. His musing was cut short when a whip wrapped around his arm. His eyes went wide. She smiled evilly and sent a current of electricity through the whip. Naruto was being fried by the golden current of lightning. He cut the lightning with his claws and fell to the ground. Ow, grumbled Naruto as he sizzled on the ground. Yujito took out a small dagger and rushed forward, ready to put the Demon King down. She did not count on Naruto getting up so quickly. He shook his head and held his hands out. Atsugai. Wind release. Pressure damage. Yujito's eyes went wide and she jumped to the side. Her right side was hit by the blast of wind and it sent her into a wall. Naruto smirked but paled when her demonic chakra flared. Yujito was surrounded by an aura of fire and Naruto merely smirked. Yaokai state 50% activated. Naruto's hair turned silver again, his horns grew and his skin turned dark gray. His eyes turned golden and his third eye opened up. Everyone up in the sidelines were shocked minus the Jounin, Hinata, and Team 7. What the hell is he? Asked Shikamaru. Sakura just smiled. Shall we? Said Naruto as he bowed to her. Yujito growled and finished the transformation. Naruto smiled evilly, this was going to be fun. Soon there was a giant two-tailed flaming cat in the middle of the arena. The Nibi no Nekomata is amusing. Naruto took out Cerberus and began swinging his nunchaku. Yujito exhaled a ball of fire and Naruto swung his nunchaku down, creating a wall of ice. Naruto smiled, he had an idea. He just needed time. His eyes went wide when Yujito let out an unearthly roar. Soon, zombies began to rise from the ground. Naruto's eyes went wide and he smirked. Pale, ugly, yellow-eyed zombies walked towards him with the intention of defeating him. He bit his thumb and went through the seals for the summoning. He slammed his hand on the ground and summoned 3 hell vanguards. Take care of them. I will deal with the kitten. Yujito just growled at the kitten comment and shot another fireball out of her mouth. Naruto vanished and he began hitting the ground with Cerberus, causing a wall of ice to appear. Yujito narrowed her eyes. I don't know what he is up to, but I cannot risk hitting the ice or it will become water and that will be a problem. Uzumaki dodged claw swipes and fireballs as he danced around the demonic cat. The vanguards dispatched the zombies and vanished. He hit the ground again and again, causing more ice walls to appear. Then it dawned on her what Naruto did. He trapped me. Roared the cat. Naruto smirked as he stood in the ice prison with her. He flew through some seals and sighed. Suiton. Bakusa Shouha, water release. Bursting water wave collision, he reached out a huge amount of water from his gullet. Yujito jumped in the air and watched as the water bounced off the walls and began to pool around them. Yujito landed in the water and steam rose from her body. He had to thank Zabuza for teaching him that move. Naruto smirked as he took out Madness. He hovered above the water and put his sword into the water. Rairyuu, activate. Said Naruto. The current of electricity flew through the water, shocking Yujito. She returned to her human form and sank into the depths below. Naruto rushed into the water and emerged shortly with the kunoichi. Yujito growled and jumped out of his grip. Naruto, still in his demonic state, just smirked. What do you hope to do against me? You bastard. Roared Yujito. Naruto flashed forward and punched her in the stomach, knocking the air out of her lungs. Yujito crumpled into a heap and Naruto helped her up. He went back to his human form and the ice vanished, causing the water to become soaked into the ground. Naruto laid the girl down and walked away. His cloak slithered to him and wrapped around him. Now Yujito can no longer battle. Uzumaki Naruto is the winner. He stopped and he quickly turned around to block Yujito's claws. I won, Yujito-san, why do you persist? "Oh no, handsome, I will not let such a man escape my grasp or the kittens." Yujito's voice came on. It was a bit distorted, and it dawned on Naruto that Nekomata was in control. Naruto flipped away ready to attack. Nekomata just chuckled evilly. "Apparently Kyuubi-chan didn't tell you what happens when you defeat a Bijuu of the opposite sex." Naruto raised an eyebrow and got into his Ansatsuken stance. "All hail King Juubi," said Nekomata. She then fell to the ground unconscious. Naruto sighed and stood up straight. He went back to his spot on the sidelines. The final matches were so anticlimactic. Naruto began playing Janken with Sasuke. Hinata defeated Megaki, another Kunoichi from Kumo, in such a swift way, it made Naruto smile. 2 hits to the legs, 2 to the shoulders, and 1 to the stomach, and that was it. Naruto had to admit, her mastery over the chakra scalpels was impressive. Dosu wasted Chaoji in 1 blow, knocking the fat boy out. Tenten and Temari were no different. He had to admit, Tenten did alright considering her disadvantage. Then he had to fight a second time. But Naruto was both bored with the whole exam, so he sent his hells down there to kill a Boro of the AIM team. Everyone except Gaara watched the slaughter with green faces. Gaara just smirked. Soon all the matches were over and the winners assembled in front of the Sandaime. After a long, drawn-out, and boring explanation about how the Chunnin exams were just an excuse for villages to display power, monitor each other, and keep years from breaking out. "Alright, everyone picks a ball from the boxes," said Hate. Each of the genin picked a ball and showed their numbers. "It is as follows, these are your opponents." Hate showed them a list and everyone was more or less pleased with their opponents. Sakura vs Hinata, Sasuke vs Neji, Uzumaki vs Gaara, Shino vs Kankuro, Shikamaru vs Dosu. Temari gets a pass for the first round. Shikamaru scowled as he had to fight twice. He was to fight Dosu, and if he won then Temari would be his next opponent. Sasuke smirked, he was going to prove the superiority of his bloodline over Neji's. Neji was more than likely thinking the same thing. "Fate has decided that I will be the winner of our bout Uchiha. We shall see Hyuga." Hinata and Sakura looked at each other and sighed. Shino stared at Kankuro from behind his shades, while Kankuro just scowled at the bug boy. Gaara had a look of bloodlust as she stared at Naruto. He seemed strong and she wanted to fight him. "You have 2 months to train. Put on a show for us, as the dignitaries of many villages will be coming to watch the matches. You are all dismissed." With that said, the Jounin, Chunnin, and Hokage vanished in a synchronized puff of smoke. Naruto sighed. He needed to get stronger. 2 days later, Anko and Kurenai were walking down the street talking. "So Kurenai, I heard Naruto kicked your ass?" asked Anko with a smirk. Kurenai bristled, and that was still a sore point for her. "If I was to fight him again, I know I will beat him. I let my guard down because he was a kid," said Kurenai, trying to regain some dignity. "Even if you didn't let your guard down, I would crush you anyway," said Naruto. Both Kunoichi turned around to see Naruto walking with a soda in hand. He groaned when Anko glumped on him. "Naru-kun," said Anko with glee. Naruto's face was right between her breasts and he sighed. "And Kyuubi-hime wonders why I am afraid of women." That and the hot springs incident. Uzumaki shuddered when he remembered that moment. It was his 8th birthday and he needed some place to hide. He was too far off from his lab to make it without being beaten to a pulp. Unfortunately he hid in the hot springs, more specifically, the woman's side, and if his luck wasn't bad enough, it was Kunoichi who got in at half price. When Naruto was hit with their combined killer intent, he felt his knees go weak and he fell to his rear. Now, a good majority of the Kunoichi didn't hate him and he explained what was going on. They understood, but he was still peeping, so they stripped him naked and made him run around like that. That was one of the most traumatizing moments of his life. "What do you mean by that, brat?" asked Kurenai, a bit peeved. Uzumaki said something, but was muffled by Anko's breasts. Naruto escaped her grasp and gasped for air. "I said that I wasn't at full power myself. I doubt you would have defeated me," said Naruto. Kurenai huffed and turned head away. "I am sorry if I have offended you in any way," said Naruto. "Oh no, my pride was the only thing that was hurt," said Kurenai with a chilling tone. "With an attitude like that, getting a mate must be difficult," said Naruto with a small smirk on his face. Kurenai turned red. He smiled and stepped back. A multitude of kunai flew forward and he deflected them with Yamato. "Forgive me if I hit a sore spot," said Naruto as he relaxed from his Dark Slayer stance. Kurenai took a deep breath and walked away. "Hey Kurenai-chan. Wait for me," and Naru-kun, shouted Anko. Anko grabbed Naruto by his wrist and dragged him along. "You need to do something for Kurenai-chan. You made her mad," said Anko with childish glee. He sighed to himself. This was going to be a long day. Nightfall, Uzumaki sat on top of Hokage Mountain and sighed. "I hate it when I am right," muttered Naruto to himself. He had to give Kurenai a massage. She made some very erotic noises as Naruto eased sore muscles. Anko would still tease him from time to time. He spotted a flash of tan and found himself in Anko's grip again. "Hello Anko-san. Call me Anko-chan or something else. Calling me Anko-san makes me sound old," said the serpent princess. Naruto sighed. "Anko-heim." Anko squealed and hugged Naruto tighter. "So why are you out at this time, Anko-heim?" Anko's face suddenly turned sour. "Stupid bastards broke into my home again and destroyed my property. Shall I deal with the vandals?" asked Naruto. "No, but I need a place to crash. I would ask Kurenai-chan, but she is still a bit peeved about the massage thing. Didn't know you had such good hands," said Anko with a grin. Uzumaki's face turned red and he sighed. He was really going to regret this later. "You can stay at my home. You will meet my vassals," said Naruto. Anko's eyes shone with happiness and she smiled a gentle smile. "Thank you Naru-kun." Naruto stood up and led Anko to the Namikaze district. Anko's eyes went wide when she entered Naruto's home. "Wow," said Anko dumbly. Naruto smirked and let her in. Anko squealed again and ran off to find a room. Naruto just sighed, knowing full well he was going to regret this later. He spotted a note on the table. "On an S-rank mission with the girls. Be back in 1 month. Sincerely Uncle Zabuza and the Peanut Gallery." He saw a drawing of a chibi Zabuza and the girls gave him a thumbs up. He suddenly paled. 1 month with Anko alone. Naruto felt like crying. He was going to be molested day and night. Kyuubi began laughing in his head. 1 week later, Uzumaki had just visited his teacher and was told that by order of the council, he was to train Sasuke. Naruto just shrugged his shoulders. He trained with Anko when he was bored. Naruto sighed as he walked through Konoha. He passed by the hot springs district and froze up. He did not want to even look at that place. He heard some giggling and twitched. He spotted a huge man with long white hair giggling and writing down notes. Naruto scowled at the pervert. He grinned as he took a deep breath. "Hentai," roared Naruto. Everything went straight to hell for Jiraiya. The girls screamed and ran off leaving a moping pervert. Naruto stood in front of a white-haired man and tilted his head. Tall, long white spiky hair, kabuki-style clothing, red tear marks, and a gigantic pervert. "You must be Jiraiya of the Sannin," said Naruto. Jiraiya looked over at the boy and smiled sadly. Naruto looked like his old man. "So you must be Naruto. So what are you doing?" "That is I am currently searching for a teacher. By order of the council, my teacher has to teach my teammate Sasuke." "Ouch, that sucks. Always hated those old bastards." Jiraiya smirked. "How about I train you? After all, I trained at Yondaime. It's the least I can do for not being here for you. It will be fun to train with the Gamma Sannin." "Alright, do you know water walking?" "Yes, sir." "Good. Then I think I can let you sign a summoning contract." That got Naruto's attention. "I didn't think it was possible to sign multiple summoning contracts." Jiraiya just smirked again. He bit his thumb and went through some seals. He slammed his hand on the floor and soon a giant red toad appeared holding a scroll in its mouth. Naruto watched as the giant scroll came unfurled and he bit his thumb. He signed the Gamma scroll in blood and watched as it vanished. Naruto sat down on the ground and took out an ink jar and the 7 Hells scroll. He drew a black swirl on it and another on the palm of his left hand. He drew a small spiral on his left wrist and smirked. "Do summoning tattoos." He bit his thumb and went through the seals. "No," shouted Naruto as he slammed his hand on the ground. In a puff of smoke, a medium-sized toad appeared. "Huh? Where am I?" asked the toad as he looked around. Naruto smirked. It was pretty good for his first try. He sent the summon away and mustered up a lot more chakra. He summoned another toad and this time, the plume was much bigger. Naruto found himself at least 100 feet in the air and he looked down. A giant red toad with a Yakuza jacket and strapped to his belt. "Boy Jiraiya. Why have you summoned me?" "It wasn't me, Bunta," asked the kid in your head. Emma Bunta looked up and laughed out loud. "This brat. There is no way he could have summoned me." "Jiraiya-san is right, I was the one who summoned you," said Naruto. "Like I said, you're too weak to summon me," said Gamma Bunta with a smirk. Uzumaki's eyes narrowed. "Fine, toads are weak anyway. I shall stick to my demons." Gamma Bunta's eyes narrowed. "What did you say?" "Oh, I'm sorry, did I offend you?" "I said toads are weak, especially their poor excuse of a Yakuza-like leader." "Oh wait, that is you, isn't it?" said Naruto with a smirk on his face. Gamma Bunta growled to himself and jumped in the air. Naruto's eyes went wide as he shot into the sky. He stuck to Gamma Bunta using his chakra and the duel landed. "Now that was rude. Get off of me, brat. How about this? If I can stay on your head till sundown, then you will acknowledge my strength." "Fine, I will not make this easy for you." Gamma Bunta began leaping back and forth, trying to knock Naruto off his head. Jiraiya smiled from the top of a tree. He felt 2 more chakra signatures. He turned to see Mitarashi Anko standing in the tree beside him and Hyuga Hinata sitting in a tree branch. The trio watched Naruto and Gamabunta ride around. Sundown, Gamabunta huffed and sighed. "Alright kid, you did it." Uzumaki smirked and he jumped off the toad. Naruto wobbled forward and landed on his face. He grunted and got up on his knees. "I acknowledge you as my summoner. But I will not welcome you into the family until we have a drink together," said Gamabunta. He watched in mild amusement as Naruto was bowled over by Anko. Hinata tried her hardest to pry the serpent princess off of Naruto and watched as Naruto ran off. Hinata and Anko soon raced after him, each wanting to catch the demon lord. Jiraiya just laughed as he stared at Naruto disappearing over the horizon. "So Bunta, what do you think of Minato's son? I see someone with the power to change the shinobi world. It will be interesting in the near future. True, teaching him is going to be fun. Who do you see more in him, Minato or Kushina?" Gamabunta looked up for a moment. His father's drive to learn and his mother's determination. "Speaking of Kushina, where is she? I know she is alive." Jiraiya lowered his head and sighed. "She is in hiding. She wants nothing to do with Konoha after Minato died. She abandoned Naruto and took Yui and Karen with her. I know where she is, but I would not risk telling Naruto yet. His mental state is still questionable at best." "I see. Well then Jiraiya, I'm gonna give Naruto my regards." The giant toad summon vanished in a puff of smoke. Jiraiya smirked as he vanished too. He had a student to catch. Forest of Death. Uzumaki flipped past branches and dashed forward. If he was caught, Anko was getting a back rub. And if Anko wanted one, Hinata wanted one. I knew it was a bad idea to introduce Hinata Heim to Anko Heim. "So Naruto-kun, how come I don't get a back rub? In all honesty I have no idea. I want one later on tonight." Uzumaki flew through the trees and ran for his life. He could smell Anko's scent and he sped up. "Why did I think it was a good idea to run from possibly the best assassination expert Konoha has ever produced?" muttered Naruto. He hid in the safety of an uprooted tree and felt both Anko and Hinata pass overhead. He poked his head out and sighed. He tripped over something and scowled. But then his eyes went wide. A handle. He lifted the handle and spotted stairs going down. He walked down the stairs. Underground chasm. Uzumaki was in a strange place. It seemed to be a temple. "Uzumaki-kun, this place reeks of demonic activity. Then I shall be on guard." Uzumaki walked deeper into the temple and soon found himself in a cave. There was an odd podium in the middle of the room with a strange device on top. He read the writing on the podium to himself. "Those who seek escape will gather 2, those who wish for power shall gather 3, gain 1, and escape is not possible, essence of strength, wisdom, and courage." Uzumaki looked behind the podium and spotted 3 different entrances. He shrugged his shoulders and walked up the stairs on the left. He entered a room with 4 doors and a podium in the middle. A riddle. What walks on all 4 as an infant, 2 as an adult, and 3 as an elder? A man. Explain. As an infant, they crawl on all 4, as an adult they walk on 2 legs, and, as an old man, they use a walking stick to get around, a 3rd leg if you will. But how does that explain the 3 doors? Uzumaki stared at the doorways to see if anything was different. The only thing that was different was those strange spheres on top of the doorways. One had 4, one had 3, one had 2, and one had 1. I don't get it, wait, I have a hunch. Uzumaki ran forward towards the door with 4 spheres. He entered the room again. He turned and ran towards the door with 2 spheres. Once again in the room he ran to the one with 3 spheres. He ended up in the room again, but on the podium was a small glowing blue orb. Essence of wisdom. He slipped in his kunai pouch and walked out. Kyuubi stared at Naruto, impressed with his intelligence. "How did you figure it out?" "Simple, it was a code, 4, 2, and finally 3. Solving the riddle was just preparation. I would hate to know what would happen if I ran into the wrong doorway. But I must admit, that is some pretty powerful demonic magic to have loops created." Uzumaki walked towards the next room and ended up in a long hallway. He took 1 step forward and spikes began protruding from the walls. He noticed holes in the ceiling, ground, and both walls. All of courage, I suppose. Naruto sighed and ran forward. He went into his yokai state and jumped over the spikes. He banked towards the right and then left. He slid under the spikes coming from the ceiling and jumped over the ones from the floor. Soon they were coming in pairs. "Oh, give me a break." Uzumaki jumped and dashed forward using chakra to propel himself forward. He rolled towards the podium and sighed. He picked up a red sphere and slipped into his pouch. He looked to the right of the podium and spotted a blue fragment. He smirked and picked it up. "Ah, blue orb fragment. With this one, I can complete a blue orb." Uzumaki slipped the fragment into his pouch and he heard a guttural roar. He turned around and dashed. He was in no mood to deal with a demon. He spotted a giant black puddle and stopped. "Great, I just can't win." The puddle roared again before rushing towards Naruto. He jumped in the air and took out his Yamato. He began hacking at the puddle, and the creature moaned in pain. Naruto held his hand out, and the puddle floated in the air. It turned into a black solid sphere with strange golden rectangles on it. The sphere split in two. One vanished, and the other fused with Naruto. He just shrugged his shoulders. Naruto walked out and went to the final room. Uzumaki-kun, you have enough of the essences to escape. Why did you come here? Why leave the job almost done? I will never understand the mind of men. Hey! Shouted both Naruto and Orpheus. Uzumaki sighed as he stepped in the middle of an arena-like field. He saw the doorway become sealed off and the essence become sealed off. Naruto took a step back when a giant creature landed in the middle of the arena. It was a titan. Giant, hideous, lugging a club the size of a tree, and instead of a left arm, a mace was attached. It had 4 eyes and 1 huge maw. Not good, Orpheus. Wapo, let's go. Shouted Naruto as he summoned his magician and full arcana. What the hell is that? Wapo asked. Ask questions later. Said Orpheus as he took out his spears. Naruto raced forward and vanished. Orpheus followed suit. Wapo flew into the air and began concentrating. Burn. She tossed Kakyu-sized fireballs from her hands, causing the creature to cower. Orpheus began twirling his spears in his hand and began jabbing and whacking the titan. Seeing as all he did was annoy it, he did the only thing that could do damage, and he could think of it. He stabbed the titan in the groin. The titan let out a pain-filled scream, and Orpheus pulled out. I am seriously in need of some disinfection. Uzumaki watched the whole thing and could feel remorse for the poor titan. He took out madness and began spinning it. Hi-Rai-K's. The madness became a glowing disc of death. Naruto tossed it and cut the titan clean down the middle. Naruto caught madness and deactivated it. The blade returned to its bracelet state. Damn, I overheated it. Well, at least it's over. Said Wapo. 3 more roars echoed through the arena. You should learn to be quiet. Said Orpheus. Naruto just groaned. Today was just one of those days. 30 minutes later, Uzumaki walked away from the arena with the essence of strength. He walked to the tri-essence chamber and placed the essences in the podium. He put one in, nothing happened. He put a second one in and watched as the strange device on top blasted a hole in the wall opposite of him. He saw a staircase going up. He placed a third essence in and the device fell from on top of the podium. He caught it and stared at the strange weapon. It looked like something that would be attached to his arm. Before he could pick it up, the sphere returned and fused with the gun. It became a black bracelet with golden rectangles. He picked up the bracelet and put it on. Well, try pushing some chakra into it. He did as he was told and it returned to its gun state. Instead of being white and purple, it was black and gold. It had 2 prongs on the front that was closed. He wondered if put some chakra into it now. He pushed some chakra into the weapon and spotted a glowing purple orb. He pointed it at a wall and let go of his chakra. He watched as it discharged an arrow of chakra. Neat. Uzumaki walked out of the temple and made his way to ground level. Outside the forest of death, Uzumaki spotted the moon outside and sighed. I must have been down there for a while. Had fun, brat? Asked Jiraiya from his spot on the tree. Naruto smirked and pointed Artemis at Jiraiya. His eyes went wide and he jumped from the tree branch just as Naruto fired at it. He smirked evilly. Jiraiya growled and began shaking his fist at Naruto. How dare you? You disrespectful punk. Says the pervert. Shouted Naruto back. I am not a pervert. Said Jiraiya. Naruto was about to say something, but Jiraiya beat him to it. I am a super pervert. Uzumaki's face vaulted and scowled. So you admit it? Yes, I do. And for being my student, I must let you have this. Said Jiraiya as he tossed a book at Naruto. Naruto caught the book by reflex and his eyes went wide. I knew you were a dirty old man, but this takes the cake reading these perverted books. Said Naruto. Ah, but my boy, I don't just read them, I write them. Said Jiraiya with a smirk. Naruto just rubbed his temples. Naruto pocketed his book and walked home. Jiraiya watched the boy walk off. I may not have been able to corrupt Minato, but I will definitely corrupt Naruto. Said Jiraiya with a devious grin. He vanished in a puff of smoke. Elsewhere, a figure in a black robe and hood walked to a giant statue. The statue was that of a fallen angel. Master, I have returned with the information you wanted. Speak, said the statue. The young Juubi is growing at an impressive rate. But he holds no loyalties to mankind with an exception of a few people. Excellent. We will bring him to our cause. He will undo the work of his bastard ancestor. He will serve me. Shall I retrieve him? No, we shall wait. We must wait till he is strong enough to create, open, and destroy hell gates. I see, if I may be so brave. How are you feeling, master? Better. With that foolish man with the red eyes agreeing to let me use his body as host, I will be free. Of course we must wait for the Juubi to grow stronger. But that is only a short while away. Being sealed away for over 10 millennia has taught me some patience. After all, what is another 10 years? And with that man's body hosting my spirit and power, I will finally reunite the worlds. The figure walked away from his lord. And then my dear Goten, not even heaven shall be beyond our grasp, roared the statue. As you wish, Master Mundus, said the figure now identified as Goten. He vanished again. A woman wearing a formal black dress walked up to the statue. Her blonde hair tied up in a pineapple hairstyle. Her crimson eyes stared at the statue. Hello my daughter. Hello father, I overheard your conversation with Goten. I hope this new soldier is handsome. The statue laughed. I'm sure he is. Now get some rest, my dear. Of course, father. The woman walked away, back to her chamber. Mundus laughed to himself. Foolish girl, I care not for you, just your power. Once I get what I want from you will be disposed of. Namika's district. Uzumaki sat down on his bed and sighed. He spotted Kyuubi walking towards him wearing nothing but a towel. What? You promised me a back rub, said Kyuubi. Naruto's eyes went wide. How he wished that towel would cover more of her legs. Those damn delicious looking legs. Kyuubi crawled into his bed and lay down on her stomach. She lowered her towel until it only covered her rear. Naruto prayed to Inari and Buddha again. If I make it through this, please forgive me for previous insults. Uzumaki began by starting with her shoulders. He rubbed and massaged the flesh, causing Kyuubi to let out a drawn-out moan. Naruto's face matched her hair color. That's the spot for Naruto-kun. Tomorrow, we will work on a Kyuubi stop to moan. Fighting style based on speed that you can incorporate into your fighting styles. Something quick and nimble. Kyuubi let out a deep moan, and Naruto's face turned an even deeper red. Naruto repeated the process for about 15 minutes and heard more noises than his mind could possibly handle. Kyuubi sat up and smiled. That was excellent, Naruto-kun. Uzumaki's eyes went wide and blood dribbled out of his nose. Kyuubi tilted her head and looked down. She was giving Naruto a free show. She picked up her towel slowly and smirked. Enjoyed the view? Whispered Kyuubi huskily in his ear. Naruto passed out. He gave up, it was too much for him to handle. Kyuubi giggled evilly and took off her towel. She snuggled next to Naruto and smiled. To Naruto, once you gain one tail of power, I will be able to leave the seal. I will have one tail of power and I will be able to exist. Your father was smart, but I am a kitsune and I will find more loopholes. I will have you my king. We shall have powerful children too, said Kyuubi. She licked his earlobe. And Anko too, she cares for you a lot. Hinata-chan likes you too. I can sense that Haku and the Kuriho sisters want you to be happy as well. We can share you with any other woman that wants you and loves you. After all, we need a royal family. Uzumaki shuddered in his sleep as Kyuubi licked his ear and nibbled on it. She giggled evilly again. Imagine his surprise waking up next to me like this. The end. Thanks for watching my video. Leave a like if you enjoyed my video and also do consider subscribing to my channel for more awesome content. See you next time, till then sayonara.